That looks like something I'm going to want to keep on top of.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Yep.
You know what else is something we want to keep on top of?
What's that?
Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to Pixel It. My name is Kevin. With me, as always, is Phil. And today we're finishing up this book.
Kevin, every now and then I say something that immediately I think to myself, if Kevin doesn't swing for this one as an opening line, then one of us fucked up on an unimaginable level. And today you did not disappoint me, my friend.
We got 3 chapters left in XCOM UFO Defense. My notes are sparse.
And we all know what that means.
You know, when I don't have a lot of notes, that means I'm not a happy Kevin. It's mostly the gaps will be filled in by rants.
By rage.
By rage.
Rage gaps.
So anyway, before we get started, Phil, do you have any final words to prep the audience before we get into this last third, or do you just want to?
Oh, I thought you were about to assassinate me somehow.
Yeah, well, I have also been. I've been playing a little bit of Hitman: World of Assassination, so
that'll put you in that mindset.
That'll put you in the right headspace.
You know, Kevin, before we get too deep into this, just to give the people something nice right up front, I thought maybe I'd take a second to talk about patreon.com/pixelitpod.
Oh, that sounds like a lovely website.
It's a really neat website, Kevin. It is a place where you can go in and you can take your hard-earned money dollars and you can contribute as much or as little of it as you'd like. On a monthly basis, you can do as little as $1. You can do as much as 15. Is it 15? No, it's 10. See, that's 10. How reasonable it is. And it's good stuff. And we actually, and this is the fun thing. We've got a lot of exclusive stuff we're working on that's going to be getting released here shortly. I don't know if you saw, Kevin, but we recently put up a poll asking everyone what year they would like us to review in video games, and we threw up some from all over the place. And we have enough votes to pick a definite winner, and the winner is 1997.
1997.
So very good year.
We have to review the year in video games? Or?
Yes, we have to pick. We're going to pick our top 10 games of 1997.
That sounds like a hell of a good bonus to get from a Patreon page. Oh, yeah. That's a primo bonus.
Big time bonus.
Big time chef's kiss bonus.
Beautiful. And all you need to do is be on the $5 or more a month range to receive this in your hot little hand, whenever we finish it. But it's coming. It's coming, people. And
this is me receiving it in my hot little hands.
In the hot little hands.
From heaven. From the Patreon heavens.
Patreon gods. And that's just one of the things we're working on. Kevin and I actually had a wonderful visit recently where we got to sit down and work on some bonus episodes, which it's going to be a lot of fun releasing those.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah, you're going to enjoy them. So, please check out patreon.com/pixelitpod. The same name for everywhere you find us, whether that's Twitter or YouTube or anywhere else. Pixelitpod. Do it today.
Do it today. Don't disappoint your children.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't traumatize your kids because you didn't help a couple of middle-aged geeks in their time of need.
Exactly.
Those kids didn't deserve that.
What else we need to do right now?
What's that?
Even though we've stalled long enough, let's put the body in the marsh.
Yeah.
Don't laugh! This ain't reality TV!
All right, so chapter 5. Ari has woken up, but he's not ready for active duty yet, and he just needs to chill. And Janelle is mad at him for disobeying orders, but happy he's awake. That's like, there we go. I summarized half a chapter for you.
Yeah, these are not short chapters, guys. I think we've emphasized that before. But yeah, that's you pretty much nailed it.
These moments are buried in like other shit of her walking around the base. And then after she's back in the Morocco base and she meets with a new character, Captain Arwi Ngaj, who is working with Trenchard on interrogating the ethereals. And then Ngaj is like, oh, Trenchard's really good at this. He's really good at interrogating ethereals.
Almost suspiciously good.
Suspiciously good. And she goes in and talks to Trenchard. And this is probably the only neat part of the entire last 3 chapters is Janelle and Trenchard have a really deep discussion about evolution and how the ethereals have evolved. Yeah. Like, and how they got to a point where they were smart enough to start making changes to their own biology in order to adapt to things such as, a planet that is orbiting a star that is dying. You know, they don't need the heat. They don't need food. They don't need anything. Like they're fully adapted to be immortal or whatever.
Yeah. They tapped into their own DNA.
They tapped into the DNA, and it's a really neat discussion. And it's the high point. It's all downhill from here.
It is. It really is.
Yeah. So she's done talking with Trenchard, and we get to chapter 6, where she meets with Uli, the president of the town.
Yes.
And his cow, remember his award-winning cow? Do you remember his award-winning cow?
Oh, absolutely. How could I forget?
It's been cow-napped.
Cow-napped?
Oh. Yeah. And she says, and he's like, can't you do anything? You're the UN. And she's like, oh, I'll find some people to look into it. This is pretty much the story from here on out. It's the cows that really break the thing all wide open. So her and some other ex-commers. Oh, sorry. There's several pages in which she has to talk to her higher-ups and get approval for an uncovert mission. She puts in all the requisite paperwork. She gets it notarized. She has it witnessed. She signs it. It's signed by a witness. It's signed by a notary. She has to give blood samples, stool samples. She doesn't really ask why. And then they're like, okay, you can go ahead and do an uncovert mission in this town to look into cow disappearances.
Guys, I wish I could tell you that Kevin is exaggerating like a lot. He is exaggerating. He is. But not as much as you would hope if you were just sitting down on a lovely summer afternoon wanting to enjoy yourself in an XCOM adaptation. There's enough truth in what Kevin said to make you ready just to get fucking hammered and throw this book off the edge of a cliff.
Yep. There's truth to this. I am from here on out, just consider me an unreliable narrator. And
fair enough.
So her and the other ex-commers posing as UN folks begin to investigate. And they start doing that. And she's got a guy who's good at data with her, or his name's Matt. And then she goes back to Hill Magoon and talks to Ari. He's close to being released, and he's complaining about the food.
Because he's quirky. He's so funny.
He's quirky. And then she racks up... Yeah, it's funny. She racks up those frequent flyer miles and goes back to the Andermatt base. And she gets a note from Ngaj about the interrogation, and that the aliens are making a push in the southern hemisphere.
That's right.
So they're doing that. And then back in town, Janelle and her team meet with Yuli, and he's going to escort them to a woman who might have some answers. So during this whole conversation, Yuli's like, well, you know, people from Switzerland have always seen like strange things. Like if you ask them for information, they're going to start just telling you about cryptids.
Right. We're a weird people.
You might see like people talking about the cryptid it's like a flayed cow skin with eyes floating around. And I was like,
it like rolls down the mountain at you or something.
And I was like, yeah, could I have a book about that?
That sounds awesome.
Can we stop doing what we're doing and just focus on...
Can that be the final boss somehow? I'm in. I'll forgive you for everything if we could just have that.
So part of it is Janelle starts piecing together like, well, maybe the aliens have been here in Switzerland for much longer than anywhere else. This might be their original base. Because the cow mutilations and cow-based cryptids have been around forever. And she says something like, you know, we made fun of people talking about little gray men abducting them until we realized that they were being abducted by sectoids.
Yeah.
So that's a good point. But they go over to the other side of the mountain and they meet with a woman who lives all by herself up the mountain. In a 300-year-old house. Her name is Duane Mati. And she talks about the spaceships she has seen. And they're like, well, how could you see that far over on that mountain? And then she busts out some military surplus, like really high-end binoculars.
Yeah.
And
like this woman killed Nazis. Like we can all accept that that's what she did, right? She was part of some like underground freedom force.
She did some anti-Nazi shit, and yeah.
So much for the tolerant left.
So she's like, here, I'm looking with these, and Janelle's like, oh no, she'd be able to read like the fucking serial number on the side of an alien ship with those.
Yeah. For the record, this is the part of this section that I liked the most. I liked getting to know this weird ass old lady. And like her discussing like cow abductions and seeing aliens in the sky. Like this is where we should have started. This is where the book should have started. So
this is where the book should have started.
Yeah.
It's every time we get a book that is a bit lame. It seems like that's our refrain over and over again.
Yes.
Is that the book should have started a lot later.
There are so few books that we've read on this show that truly had nothing to offer.
Right.
Honestly, if you go back, play back the tape, you'll see that there are a lot of the ones that we complained about the most. We were angry because there was so much potential and there was so much there that could have been done. We started to see where they were going with it. And it just kind of let us down. And there's something really extra disappointing about that.
Yeah.
And this is a situation like that where it's like there's so much you could have done here if you just started here.
Right.
Yeah. This is when it starts getting really interesting.
You see the glimmer of the ideas that motivated the story to be written in the first place.
Yes.
You see
100%.
them buried underneath everything else, all the diamonds kind of just like glittered in there amongst the coal. And it's unfortunate. You just had to light that coal on fire and collect the diamonds.
Right. It's and the thing is all right, look, I'll get into this later. We're not even close to being done. So
we're closer to being done than you think.
Well, that's
I'm fucking.
Yeah, that's a good point. This was, ladies and gentlemen, this was another
fucking short.
Yeah, well, that's true. But this was another one of those instances where Kevin, over the course of the day, texted me and he was like, "I've stopped taking notes. I've stopped taking." And I was like, "Oh boy, it's gonna be one of those episodes." Okay, all right. And I always appreciate when you do that because it helps me brace myself.
Yeah, brace yourself with knowing that I'm gonna be like, "Fuck," and that's the end. 10 minutes into the show, I'm gonna be like, And that's the rest of the book. The end.
It's amazing. Kevin is easily one of the more positive people I know. He's always willing to err on the side of give you the what's the word?
Benefit of the doubt.
Benefit of the doubt. That's exactly it. He always willing to do that. And when Kevin loses hope, it's simultaneously tragic and the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. It's like watching Galactus swallow a planet. You're like, oh, so many people died, but that's so cool. So it's this is one of those times.
So there's an alien base inside one of the nearby mountains that we figure out. And like, oh my God, it just so happens to be like 2 mountains over from my super secret base. How did that happen?
No, but seriously, how did that happen?
How did that happen?
That's seriously a really good question.
How is this not figured out, just noticed by the patterns of where the ships were coming from and or going?
Yeah.
So Janelle has, and we're in the final chapter now. We're in the last chapter of the goddamn book. We have literally just found out, like, the cow thing and the alien base. We have spent 140 pages were before this section.
Yes.
You could have just had this section at the beginning and expanded it, and it would be a more compelling story.
Yes.
Yes. And so, anyway, there's a pilot. He's like, Janelle's like, hey, pilot, are you going out? And he's like, yeah. You need me to pick up some smokes? And she's like, nah, but can you do an infrared, like, flyby of this mountain? And the pilot's like, okay. And then about a page later, the pilot comes back. And he's like, here you go. I don't know what this is for. You said it was for the weather people. I don't know if this affects the weather at all. There's just a slightly warm spot at the base of the mountain. And she's like, good, I'll pass this along to our meteorologists.
Yes. And
the pilot goes and he plays Crud, the game that came up twice in the book. It's a little detail.
Not let it drop.
I don't mind little details, but we spent a lot of time talking about Crud for something that wasn't super. In a 240-page book, like if it was the fucking Stand, you could dedicate a chapter to Crud, and I wouldn't care.
Sure, fine, yeah. Literary writers have been doing that for centuries.
It's about the percentage.
Yes, it's the ratio, motherfucker.
It's the ratio.
It's the ratio. You can go off on tangents, and they can be charming and interesting, and still tell you something about the world. But not when you only have 240 pages.
It could literally just be a world-building detail. I love world-building details. But a book is like bread. It's like bread. And there's so many different types of bread, and there's so many different types of books. There's so many different types of bread. There are so many different types of bread. You can have those ratios all mixed up in different ways. You can use... You could use yeast. You could not use yeast if you're using like a like an Irish bread. You're making that quick rise bread with baking powder, baking soda, whatever. There's so many ways to make bread. So many different countries have different types of bread with different types of ratios, ingredients, but we all agree it's fucking bread.
It's bread.
And we all agree that books, or I am saying books are like bread, where you can have different ingredients and all that stuff, and you can have the world building. If you want a marble rye, you want a little world building in your book, fine. But you can't fuck up the ratio so bad that it turns into not bread.
Yeah.
And if you add too much of something that if you miss up the ratio a little bit in your book, it's not a book anymore. It's just extended instruction manual for the game.
I mean, kind of.
Anyway, books are bread. Bread are books. Books are bread.
That's the next sticker. Books are bread.
That's the next sticker in the Discord.
Kevin. Books are bread.
Oh, God.
Kevin, books are bread, Earhart.
So she gets Coney on the phone to get some answers and fucking blows up at him. She's like,
oh,
yeah. I was
yeah.
like, just ask him. You don't need to yell at him.
It's this weird, stilted paragraph of a cuss out where I feel like our author may have watched a movie that had one of those like big, powerful, final go fuck yourself speeches, and she went, "That's what my book needs." And it's such a tame and weirdly like generic kind of thing. And it's like, if this is meant to be the thing that inspires us over what a badass our main character is, then we might need another 240 pages. And it comes out of nowhere. It comes out of nowhere. There's no point to it.
It's basically like, imagine you're at the end of A Few Good Men, right?
Yeah.
And Jack Nicholson's character has been a perfectly reasonable witness for the entire time. Then gives his speech about how you want me on that wall, you need me on that wall.
Yeah,
that would be a little out of left field, right?
Yeah, you'd say, what the fuck did that come from?
Yeah.
And then he'd offer you bread.
But
the bread's all fucked up.
Bread's all fucked up.
You offer your bread and go, this is XCOM UFO Defense, a novel. And you go, I don't think that's what this is.
Open it up. And then you open up and the steam from the fresh baked bread rises, and inside is XCOM UFO Defense novel.
He snuck it in somehow with the bread.
He snuck it in.
That wasn't really necessary, but he did it anyway.
I snuck this into a jail. I snuck XCOM UFO Defense, a novel, into a jail. It was baked in some bread.
Yeah. And now I'm being arrested.
Now I'm being arrested.
It's what I deserve.
For contraband. So she yells at Coney, and then Coney's like, all right, well, let me look into it. And then he gets back to her like, nope, we hollowed out that place, but there's been no Swiss military in there for like 30 years. She's like, aliens.
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, she's super calm about all of this.
Yeah.
Like this whole time she's like, she gets this information and it's like, this is the shit that should blow the lid off everything. And she's just like, well, I'm just going to very calmly go over here and have a sandwich. And,
she
and then
goes
I'll
and she eats
eventually,
a sandwich.
Yeah. And eventually I'll tell people, who can do something about this, but there's no need to fly off the handle. And
I heard he flew off the handle once at Coney.
And I did it for no good reason. So
yeah, I did it for no good reason.
Abuse that.
Yeah. So she has a sandwich and she meets up with Ari, and he hands her a letter that concerns her. He's like, this was given to me to give directly to you. She reads it and she gets nervous, and then she tells him to schedule some fuck time with her in the next 24 hours.
It's really gross. It's I'm sorry. I'm not easily shocked. I like sexy times. I think that stuff is fine in your novel, but there's something so abrupt about, like, Kevin's not fucking around. She literally says, I need you to schedule a couple of hours where we can get really physical or something like that. And it's just, it felt gross, man. Like, break up with your girlfriend.
Schedule
She's
some time
gross.
for us to get physical.
Right. Because we might be dead. It's like the lamest, like, eat hearty for tonight we dine in hell that has ever been written. It's really lame.
Yeah. There's like an impulsive, like, romantic moment that could have been here where she just, like, pushes him into her room, and that's when you have the body heat, like, sex scene right there.
Yeah,
It's like boom.
absolutely.
But no, we get it's real. It's like it's the way Jean-Luc Picard probably would. Very well. Find some time on my schedule. It's my outlook is up to date.
No, but you actually just nailed the problem with this whole book. This book is so bureaucratic in everything that it does that if I had an inkling, if I thought for a second that this was written well enough, that this was a satire, I actually would kind of love it, but it's not. It's just there are no moments of passion. There is scheduling in time for sex. Couple of hours, yes, of course, but still it's on the blotter. And there's no like scary out of nowhere attack scenes or ambushes or something. It's very like, well, we're going to land here and then we're going to fight and then we win. The end. And it's so regulated and it's so dull. It's unbelievable.
It's like in another universe with if the bread had been left to proof for a little bit longer. You would get like this would be like an XCOM flavored Starship Troopers.
Yeah. This could have been something really lovely in that sense. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's it's not that.
It is not.
So Janelle makes an announcement to all of XCOM about the plans to attack a nearby alien base, and in her announcement, she says it's in a different area than where it actually is. She's like, "We're going to attack in 3 weeks," and then in the next scene, after running the train on Ari, she shows him the letter from Ngaj to her about how Trenchard is the spy. Trenchard is the one because Ngaj was the one who actually put it all together after listening to the way Trenchard was doing things. Apparently Janelle had already, this is like the Ocean's 11 heist sequence where Ari's like, well, what are you going to do about it? And she's like, oh, it's already been done.
I'm not a cartoon villain. I set this up 5 hours ago. Like, what?
So it's like, she's like, yeah, the time and place for the attack is she made a public announcement about one thing. The actual time and place is totally different. And she's like, we're going to give him the mushroom treatment. We're going to feed him shit and keep him in the dark, you know?
Yep. See what comes out on the other side.
And then she's like,
style.
we're going to... You'd be thinking that there's a lot more book after this. There isn't. She's like, we're going to arrest him the day that we move in for the attack.
Yeah, let's not do it too quick because we still want...
because reasons.
Because reasons, yeah. Fine.
We still want something, I guess. On Sunday, they launch the attack and blow a hole in the mountain. They kill a bunch of aliens and they save the cows. Yay.
Uh-huh.
Trenchard got away. Boo.
What a surprise.
They have a cow parade to end the book. Woohoo.
Yep. Yep.
That's the end of the book.
That's the book.
I mean, there's some, I guess, actually, no, there's really no good action sequence. I mean, it's an action sequence. I wouldn't call it a good action sequence at the end. They just kind of get in there and they overwhelm. You know that scene at the end of Dick Tracy when the cops surround the only way out of the club and the gangsters all think the only way out is to just drive out the garage door, guns ablazing.
Right.
And literally all of them die. Now that in the movie, Dick Tracy is one of my favorite single shootout moments in film history. But it's the same thing happened, but in book form here, and it's somehow incredibly dull. They Dick Tracy these aliens.
Yep.
In the mountain. And, Flat Top gets out and he gets shot like 1,000 times and then stumbles over. And you should watch Dick Tracy again.
I haven't seen that movie in 1,000 years.
Yeah.
That would be.
It has one of my favorite, one of my favorite insults to use when I'm trying to be like insulting, but not specific in any way. Just go suck an egg.
That's good.
It's a good one, right? It sounds rough, but
I don't remember who said it, but I remember someone saying something along the lines of he was as ugly as a Dick Tracy villain, and you're just like, oh, damn.
Oh, that is good. That's good. All right, so we're done with the book. Phil, how did you like UFO XCOM UFO Defense, a novel?
Well,
what are your thoughts?
I think the main problem that our authors seem to have with this book, the main problem, is that while the author was ignoring the source material, ignoring people who would have read this who may be unfamiliar with the source material, ignoring people who were familiar with the source material but still would like to have a little direction and description and, an engaging world. While she was ignoring all of those things, she also completely forgot to put in a plot. There's no plot in this book. This is like some weird slice of life, a month in the life of the commander thing, but it isn't. Which, look, I'm saying that, and that actually sounds kind of like a literary genius kind of move. No, it's just a rambling, tumbling mess. It's so frustrating because, as we just pointed out, near the end, we get to a point where, I don't know, something clicks and it starts to actually have interesting characters and interesting moments. And I think the big telling point is the fact that this franchise actively talks about cow abduction, which is also one of the main plot points for Redneck Rampage.
Sure.
It is a silly, ridiculous, over-the-top thing. And as intense as XCOM the game can be, it is also aware of the fact that it is working in archetypes and tropes from a 50s level kind of UFO mania. And it's almost, at times you get to a point where Diane seems to know that. And it's amusing. We talk about the cow races and stuff like that. But I don't know. She goes off on these. The moment she starts to touch in on that, we go off and start going into shit that doesn't matter. We're literally talking about tax reports and paperwork and all of this other stuff. And it's so dull. It's so dull. And it doesn't even reflect the tedium that you might get into in a game of XCOM.
Right.
Because at least XCOM has several fights that will break out in a single session that will keep the action going along. And then you go, okay, well, let's research that. Okay, let's develop this, and it doesn't have any of that. It's just the inner monologue of this woman who seems to be bored with the fact that she's trying to save the world.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's like, it edges away from ever saying anything that could be interesting. Like there's moments earlier on where it's like, it's ridiculous that we have to maintain financial solvency when we're trying to save the world. But that's a capitalism. But it never really even goes that hard at it. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's moments where it's like, oh yeah, another alien race. There's a good line in the last third where it's like, 1,000 years from now, if these guys win, another alien race will come down and be like, oh, well, how'd the people that you took the planet from lose? And it's like, well, they couldn't maintain like fiscal solvency.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's good. That's a great line.
Yeah.
The entire book should go harder in that direction, you know, that it's ridiculous that you have to figure that shit out as like, you know, it's in a universe where we throw like basically unlimited budgets at militaries. The fact that the one thing standing in between, you know, aliens and the annihilation of Earth it has to be the most tightly budgeted military in the world.
Right. There's something so silly about that. And you're right. She gets right up to the edge of saying something and then just dives over a cliff that's just filled with details about Swiss tourism.
Yeah.
Stuff that doesn't come back into play. The cow thing was the only thing that came into play eventually. I was like, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Every time we start one of these books and I go, I'm going to write it out. We don't know how this is all going to tie up, because who knows? Maybe all that shit was going to tie up into something that would be clever and at least halfway interesting. And no, it's just filler. It's just, I want to take a vacation to Switzerland, please. And look, we all do. But that's not why I bought the book.
Right. Yeah. That's it's a little rough. I feel like there's some interesting characters introduced in the last third. There's the Captain Ngaj, is a neat dude. It's like
the crazy lady in the mountains.
Yeah, the lady up there where Uli is like, yeah, I mean, it's very likely that she'll just shoot at us.
Right. Yeah.
And she's like, and Janelle's like, oh, and he's like, oh, don't worry, it would be with a crossbow.
Right. Yeah. Like, where the fuck? That's great. That's fun.
Yeah.
Those are cool details.
Like, the book should have been all of that stuff. The combat scenes are, you know, nothing special. You know what it is? It's like a play session of somebody who is in mid-late game doldrums with XCOM and isn't really sure what to do next.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, we're like, well, everything seems to be like running smoothly. I'm shooting everything down, and I got my Illyrium coming in and out, and everybody's got their rifles, and all my people are colonels. You know what I mean? It's like, it's kind of like a stalemate of XCOM. It's Long War XCOM, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think you nailed it, because that's just it. At no point, at any point in this novel, did I feel like, well, what are they going to do?
Yeah. There's no stakes at any point.
No stakes. At no point were things out of control. We find out there's a spy. I got it. Don't worry about it. I've reported him and we'll take care of it. Okay. And even him disappearing, you could use that to be like, well, he could come back and fuck us up. No, he's probably dead, or like the aliens took him away and God knows what they're doing to him. So don't worry about it. It has no stakes there. At no point do you go, how are they going to get out of this? Because it's going to be fine, and they will handle it within a half a page of introducing the problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is XCOM UFO Defense, a novel.
That one was bad, man.
It's disappointing too. Like, it's bad, but I'm very disappointed that this was bad. I was hoping for like some. I had strange hopes and be like, oh, maybe we found some badass like fucking book, you know, mid-90s video game adaptation book. And
I have a certain level. I think we both do have a level of respect for these classic, you know, genre writers who were cranking it out in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s stuff. There is a serious level of respect we both got for these people. And so when the ball gets fumbled this badly, you can't help. Yeah, disappointment's the name of the game. Damn.
The name of the game. All right. So that's enough talking about that. Phil, I have one question to ask you.
What's that?
What are you playing?
Well, I am actually, for only the second time in my entire life, indulging in a Pokemon game.
Oh,
Yeah.
a Pokemon?
Yeah. I was never a Pokemon kid. I was kind of I was just a little too old for it. Or at least too old for me to have been caught up in the fervor of when it really hit the States. So that one kind of missed me. But I remember I was working in the gaming industry. I don't remember which Pokemon came out, but everyone at work had their 3DS, and they were all playing it during lunch and all that shit. And I went, I'd better pick this up and be part of the group, and played it. And I was like, oh, okay, I see. This is charming. I get it.
Sure.
But last year, Pokemon Legends, I think Arceus is what it's called, Arceus or something like that, came out, and I heard a lot of people talking about how it was very different from the standard Pokemon fare. It goes in a different direction, and it might be a really good jumping off point for people who are relatively new, and because it has its very much its own thing going. And so I picked that up, and that has been my sit around with a wife watching a movie and playing on my Switch game.
Right.
And having played one of the classic style Pokemon, I can say it is very different. It's got more of like an open world action RPG kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
I'm not terribly far into it, but I'm just kind of grinding away. And I love the way that you have to do things. You have to, you have tasks, and it's very open world, very quest, sub-quest kind of shit. And I'm having a lot of fun with it. So that one, it's probably going to take me a good damn long time to play, because it's just an hour here, an hour there, and it's a pretty long game, I think. But the other one that has been taking up a bunch of my time has been Alien Dark Descent. Which what was I supposed to do? What choice did I have? It is a
What choice did you have?
Yeah,
It's an Aliens game.
It's an Aliens game.
It's like it could have been. It's like almost a Warhammer game.
Exactly. It's not quite a Warhammer game, but it's almost a Warhammer game for me.
You see Warhammer, you see Aliens. I just see that mouse of yours going over to the buy button on Steam.
Yeah. There's only so much that I can do. I'm only one man. And and then you add into the fact that basically everyone was talking about this is like Aliens XCOM, and I just started hitting myself over the head with a t-ball bat so that I could receive some relief in the days leading up to it being released, because I couldn't play it yet. And I am playing it, and I have to say, and I'm not the first person to point out this comparison. But it is absolutely an Aliens XCOM game, down to the loadout screen, which we were talking about before the show gets started. That it absolutely just flagrant ripping off.
Flagrant XCOM.
Flagrant. And it's very indie, so it's janky. But the other game that it has a huge debt to is Darkest Dungeon. Because your characters have stress meters. It is very much recommended that you take this very slow. Don't fight if you don't have to. Really, really creep around, and it's not a run-in guns a-blazing kind of game. And I love that in theory right now. I played a couple of hours of it. I haven't played quite enough of it to feel one way or the other, but if it keeps going the way it's going, it's very rough around the edges, but shit, it's a good combination of game styles and the perfect franchise for that. So I'm really enjoying it. I'm keeping my fingers crossed, cautiously optimistic that it keeps going down this road. It is very janky though. I'm not a graphics guy, but the level of popping in and out of oh man, it's
I noticed it right away where it was like,
yeah,
these voices are not synced with these lips.
Yeah. And
It's like like something about the audio mix. Like it feels like the voices are somehow on top of the game and not in the game.
it's that the visuals
there's no spatial mix. That's the thing. It's
right.
You see a character that's further away from the camera, and you expect them to sound a little bit further away from the camera,
and they do not.
And they sound right here.
right. And it's that way with the visuals. It's that way with the audio. It's very janky. It needs a lot of work in terms of just the quality, like the artistic quality of it. But the game feels pretty goddamn good. I'm enjoying the differences from XCOM and Darkest Dungeon, for example, and I'm enjoying the similarities. And I'm kind of impressed. Like the moment I found out that you could rest if you found a room and welded all the doors shut, you could turn that into a safe room and rest and like de-stress and all that shit. And I was like, oh, that's cool as shit. Like that's really neat. Like it's very hardcore. And I like the fact that I'm just on the first level and it's huge. And there's so much to do within it, and you can leave and you can come back, and there's no fail necessarily just because you're like beat to shit. You can leave and come back and finish up what you didn't get. And I like that. It's very layered. It feels like you can really take your time and sink your teeth into it. So yeah, really enjoying that one. What about you, Kevin? What have you been playing?
I started playing Aliens Dark Descent as well. I echo a lot of the same thoughts, and I'm not nearly as far into it as you are. I just finished the prologue. But liking it so far. We'll see where it goes. Yeah. Other things I've been playing, I started playing Dave the Diver.
Oh, okay. I want to hear about that.
Yeah, a friend of the show, VZ, has been talking about it in the Discord.
So much.
And I figured, why not? Let's, hold on. Daughters.
Oh.
Try.
She asking for cake batter again?
Yeah, no, she's asking for a password. So yes, Dave the Diver. So far, I've only played a little bit. I've been looking for something to play on the Steam Deck. VZ's like, yeah, it probably works on this. And I just noticed that another friend, Chipmunk, has been playing it as well. So it has kind of the loop is thus: you dive underneath the water, and then you kill whatever fish. You get your blue tangs, you get your clownfish, so you can kill both Dory and Nemo.
Love it.
You bring them back up, and then you bring them to your sushi restaurant. And then there's like a sushi mini game where you're not cooking it, but you're serving it. So there's somebody else cooking it, and you have to grab the plate, run it out to the person. You have to pour green tea for people into their cups and all that stuff. And then you get the money, and then I assume there's going to be like upgrade trees. And then also there's when you're diving, there's like side quests you can go on. So on the second loop through, somebody from a university is like, hey, I need you to collect these two starfish and these two urchins for me. And if you do it, they give you something. So yeah, I'm interested to see where this gameplay loop goes. Not very far into it. Early days still. Let's see what else. I beat the System Shock remake.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, totally wrapped up. The ends. I love it. It's going to be on my Game of the Year list. The final boss is lame. Real lame sauce. Getting to the final boss is like a bit of a boss rush, though. So it's like, here's all of the big big enemies that you typically would not have had to fight all at once. You're going to fight them all at once now.
Yeah, so by the time you get to the boss, he's a push. He's like a pushover, but you're like, okay, that's fine.
No, the boss fight is just a completely different style of fight than anything you've done so far in the game. It's a little weird. I don't want to spoil too much of it.
Okay.
But yeah, I love the game overall. It's just the ending's just like, oh, okay, I guess that's that. Let's see what else I've been playing. Octopath Traveler 2, still playing that here and there on my Switch. I have somehow put 5 hours into it already, and I did not even realize that.
I knew it. I was like, this is it. This is the one.
That's what those RPGs do to you, man. They're just
man.
like, you're just sitting there. I forget when this episode is going to be coming out. It'll be before then. Okay. Baldur's Gate 3 is supposed to come out in the beginning of August.
Yes.
And it's like the first part of the game alone has like 36 hours or something like that.
That's ridiculous.
And the director of the game is like, yeah, on average, we expect most people to finish the game with only having seen 30% of the game.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
God damn it. All right.
And he's talking about in this article, we're like, yeah, we have this whole like Jurassic Park type area that like we only think like 0.1% of the people will ever find. It's like just a whole separate like dinosaur area or something. I was
CRPGs, man. Jesus.
CRPGs, man. And it's only a level 12 cap for the game.
Wait, what? Are you serious? It's a level 12 cap?
Yeah, it's a level 12 cap, which makes me wonder if that means they're like leaving room for character growth because it's D&D.
Yeah,
so
for expansions.
It's like
that,
we have okay, there's an expansion quest that takes place after the main quest and now you can get up to 20. You know what I mean?
That's gotta be it. Yeah. Is this 5th edition?
Is it 5th edition? I don't know. Probably. I would imagine Baldur's Gate 3 is going to be 5th edition because I would say Baldur's Gate, the first two came out when 3.5 was still a thing.
Yeah, I think so. Or at least 3.
Okay.
This looks like it could be 5th
Yeah. I mean, and you know, it's the same studio that did Divinity Original Sin 2. So, yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
great.
Cool. I haven't been playing it. It's just, just an aside. What else? So for the game that I've been playing at my computer, I went back in time and I'm finally playing Deus Ex Human Revolution.
Okay.
So this is the 2013 Deus Ex game that kind of rebooted the series. My only Deus Ex experience was the original game in 2000, the Warren Spector game, and it's been 23 years since I've played it. So
yeah.
I don't even remember that much of it, but yeah, it's Deus Ex, and I really like it so far. It's a lot of fun, and I love a good ImSim. Give me a game
sure do. That is your thing.
that lets me problem solve multiple ways. Like I was just in a police station and it was like, oh, you got to get some information. And be like, all right, well, I'm going to go crawl around the vents.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing about those kind of games. It's like, yeah, you can do it in any which way, but we all know I'm maxing out and hacking and stealth and
I'm maxing out hacking and stealth. There was a side quest where it's like, well, you gotta get rid of these 2 drug dealers that are threatening one of the employees at the company you work with. And it was like, if you go up on the drug dealers, and that's the thing that's funny about Deus Ex is like, you can't really take that many hits. Like if you get shot a couple times, you're dead.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, well, I have this silenced sniper rifle. So I was just like, what if I JFK it, you know? What if I go to the 7th floor of the book depository?
You mean
and
go to the
shoot
moon,
them?
right?
Yeah. Sorry, I meant Lee Harvey Oswald it.
Oh, fair enough. Okay, got it. Get killed by the government. Got it.
Get killed by the government. I meant Jack Ruby it. Ah, Jesus.
Yeah.
Back and to the left.
Yeah.
So, Camilla locked her phone for 60 minutes. Too many wrong password entries.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
Just gonna have to wait, kid.
So yeah, that's what I've been playing recently.
Nice.
That's what I've been playing. Nice. Oh yeah, and Hitman World of Assassination.
Yes.
Which
How
is
are you
just
finding
Hitman
that?
3. What's that?
Oh, okay. I was asking how you're finding it.
Oh, it's great. It's basically they released Hitman 3 and it's like, hey, do you want to just have Hitman 1 and 2 in your game? And everybody's like, yeah. So like here's the all the Hitman games is just in one game now. So yeah, it's like an ImSim in that it's it's more or less puzzle solving. You don't have to like be a good shooter or anything. It's not like an action or true action game. You're trying to avoid civilian casualties. You're trying to like, it's like listening in to people and be like, oh, this person is like allergic to this or whatever. And then you put that in their drink. Stuff like that, you know, as you drink your drink.
What? Huh?
Oh God. But yeah, no, it's fun. I enjoy it.
I like it. That was always a franchise that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
I have to check that one out.
Yeah. That'll do it for tonight's episode. Thank you so much for listening to us talk about this book. Next book on the schedule is Alan Wake?
Alan Wake.
Alan Wake!
Alan Wake. Stephen King, the game, the book.
Stephen King, the game, the book.
Yes.
The game.
It's a game I played for the first time last year too, so I'm all caught up.
It's like, yeah, I feel like I need to play. I also need to play the Control, Control the AWE, the Alan Wake expansion for Control, because there's like a whole DLC dealing with Alan Wake in Control.
That's pretty cool.
Because they're set in the same universe.
Right. Right.
The typewriter that Alan Wake writes on is like a thing that the Bureau of Control has to keep an eye on. So anyway, yeah, next book, Alan Wake. If you enjoyed this, please rate us 5 stars or thumbs up or wherever, whatever. Leave a comment on whatever podcast platform you choose to engage us on. It really helps. Over 50 of you sickos have rated us on Spotify for an average of 4.8.
Oh my God.
I love it. Love it. And we're over 25 on Apple iTunes. So that's all good. It's all good stuff.
Awesome.
Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at PixelitPod. Go to our website, pixelitpod.com. Check out our Patreon, patreon.com/pixelitpod. From our website, by the way, you can sign up for our mailing list, get episodes early, or if you go to our Patreon, if you don't feel like giving us money, just go ahead and at least follow our Patreon page, and you'll get episodes early. Either way, you can use the mailing list or the Patreon page. Either way, you'll find a link to get some early episodes. And otherwise, join our Discord. You can find it through our website. Come on in, chat with us. We promise we don't bite. You'll meet some of our friends. You'll meet some of the people that we refer to a lot. VZ is there, and he's always dropping the fresh, hot podcast recommendations. So if you are a podcast fanatic, come into our Discord. Talk with
hang out
VZ.
with us.
He'll put you in the right direction.
It's true.
It's
true.
Yeah. So that'll do it for tonight. Have a good night, everybody.
Bye.